All right, what's up, guys? Tuesday, April the 5th, 2022. Appreciate you all tuning in. It is noon. We're taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Of course, as always, I'm Chris Phillips, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. We got a lot to get into here on this Tuesday. I see Jason, Derek, Travi, Brennan M, Connor Lee, Rebecca Standage, hope you're doing well. Also, guys, if you're in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to the TDC Questions channel, to be sure your questions are answered there. Let's see. We're now seeing Facebook comments today. That's the good news. Brian Dean, what's going on? Savannah Webster says Natty season. Natty season missed yesterday. I was on the plane home from Minneapolis. Savannah, I didn't know you went. That's awesome. Glad you got home safely. Obviously, again, I would say I hope you enjoyed yourself, but I know you enjoyed yourself. So that's awesome. I did not know that you actually made the trip. Ryan Dean says, Chris, looks like you're ready to golf. Yeah, I thought I would keep you guys on your toes a little bit. And in the spirit of Masters Week, check the polo. This merch right here, guys. You cannot go online and get this. Maybe like eBay. I could probably sell this polo for a couple $100, like straight up. Got this way back in like 2014, 2013, something like that. So I thought, you know what? I got a fresh cut over the weekend. Shout out my guy up in Anderson. I got a fresh cut over the weekend. It's Masters Week. I thought, you know what? Let's keep them on their toes a little bit. Let's switch things up just a little bit. I don't rock the polo a lot, but I can do it to you. So here we are. Tony, the weather rolling in. I was actually watching this morning Masters on the range, and they blew the horn for the weather stuff or whatever. So I think there's like thunderstorms or something like that rolling in today. But the good news is it should be beautiful weather the rest of the way out. So the rest of the week, I should say. So it should be beautiful weather. Again, guys, we're taking your questions, comments, calls. Like I said, a lot of baseball on tonight. Of course, Gamecocks, in case you missed it, guys, they will not play tonight. South Carolina's game in Charlotte getting moved to tomorrow because of weather in the Charlotte area. So now South Carolina will take on North Carolina tomorrow night at Truist Field in Charlotte, North Carolina. 7 o'clock first pitch for that one. And it actually works out really well, guys, because the podcast will drop tomorrow. So tomorrow's show will be a full breakdown and preview, prediction, all that good stuff of that midweek game. And then, of course, Friday's show will be a breakdown and preview and predictions and all that good stuff of the weekend series. But some big games in the SEC. You take a look at drive around the SEC, if you will. Louisville, Kentucky on the SEC Network Plus. Georgia, Clemson tonight's on ACC Network. You've got Auburn, UAB, Ole Miss, Southern Miss, a ranked matchup. Texas A&M, Texas State's a really intriguing game. So there's some good games around the SEC for sure. Let's see. Kemper, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you tuning in. I hope you've been well. I was actually up your way over the weekend, Kemper, seeing my sister who lives in Simpsonville now. He says, Tigers playing. What do you think? Yeah, he said he's playing today, and they asked him, do you believe that you can win the Masters? He said, absolutely, which, again, does not shock me at all. That doesn't shock me at all because Tiger's a guy, listen, he's not just going to play to play. I don't think Tiger's going to win. I do think, again, health does play a factor. I mean, I think I don't know. It's funny, guys. I was going to get your feedback. I was going to get you guys feedback because I am actually, for the first time in a while, I'm doing a Masters pool, a golf pool, if you will, where you have tiers and you select golfers, right, to your team, if you will. And I don't even know if Tiger Woods. Yeah, he is on here. Okay. So he's in tier 6. I don't know how you pick anyone other than Tiger Woods, like really in that tier 6. And everybody's going to pick Tiger Woods. I don't know how you pick anybody but Tiger Woods. But if you guys have any suggestions, again, I'd love to hear from you. Who should I pick? I'm trying to win some money. Who should we pick? Who should I pick? Would love to know what you guys' thoughts are on that. So, guys, the game plan tomorrow night, by the way, we will be at Muschamp Packers messing with the mic. We will be at Tin Roof tomorrow night, normal 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we'll be at Tin Roof. But the game, of course, is at 7, so we'll probably go to like 7:15 and then call it and just watch the game from Tin Roof. So if you want to come out, going to be a little bit of a different show with first pitch at 7 o'clock, but we will go live at Tin Roof either way. Hunter Herlong, podcast. What was that accent? Podcast only 3 times a week now. May have missed something. Yeah, Hunter, in case you missed it, if you haven't listened to the show in like the last week or so, yeah, we've made an adjustment. Podcast going from 5 days per week, the daily podcast, to 3 shows per week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the new release schedule. And I think, Hunter, that is going to be the release schedule throughout like the entire year. That's what we're going to do. Just got to a point, Hunter, where listen, you kind of have to weigh, we're doing the Daily Crow, 2-hour live show each and every single day. And you get to a point where you've got to weigh, you've got to look at the way you spend your time. And, I just had a conversation with myself and sat down and said, am I being most efficient with my time? And I love the daily grind. I love doing the daily podcast. But I think the trap you can fall into as an entrepreneur is sometimes you get busy for the sake of being busy, right? You're like, I'm an entrepreneur. I should be busy all the time. And it's like, I'm busy all the time either way. But it almost felt like a little bit at this point of overkill doing 5 shows per week. You know what I mean? So there's not going to be any scaling back on the amount of content you get, anything like that. The shows might decrease, but really all you're going to see change is, for example, last week, man, I dropped Thursday the series preview for the Mizzou series, and then I literally saved the prediction, if you will, for the Friday show just to have a podcast. And it's like, that's just not really necessary. You know what I mean? It's just not necessary. So stuff like that, you'll see some shows combined, if you will, but I'm really excited to go from 5 podcasts to 3 because, it's going to give me more of an opportunity to work on different things, have time to work on different pieces of content, whether it be the vlog, bringing back interviews, and just anything else in between, you know what I mean? Just doing different things. So again, like I said, guys, you get to a point where, it's not just about being busy. It's about being efficient with your time as well. So again, listen, 3 shows per week is still more than basically anybody is doing, especially this time of year. So yeah, that is the way we're moving forward. Cocky Twan, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Also, guys, by the way, quick reminder, get your questions in today because Shane Beamer is speaking to the media today at 12:30. So we'll tune in, hear what Coach Beamer has to say. Of course, the spring game just 11 days away. Really excited for that, guys. Again, next week's going to be a ton of fun, man. Everybody going to be hyped, obviously, in the city and tons of great events. We've got our friends over at Gamecock Bourbon. They'll be having an event next Friday at Bourbon downtown off Main Street. Then, of course, you've got baseball. We've got the spring game and all the tailgating that comes with that. We've got a concert by Patrick Davis, the game itself at 7, the alumni game at 6. Going to be a fantastic weekend in the city. I've got plenty of people I know coming in town. So, again, going to be a lot of fun. John Kruger, appreciate you, my guy. I did see your order come through. I appreciate you, John. Thank you. Jason Derrick says, I'm rooting for Dustin Johnson. Corey Gardner says, Scotty Scheffler's hot. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler is very hot. You know what's crazy about Scotty Scheffler? I think most of you know, or a lot of you know probably, that I used to caddy when I was in college and stuff at Sage Valley Golf Club in Graniteville, South Carolina. If you're not familiar with it, look it up, Google it. It's about as close as the Augusta National as you'll get without going there. But I actually caddied in the Junior Invitational, which is like the biggest junior tournament in the country for amateur golfers. And one of the years I was out there, Scotty Scheffler won. So I've been seeing Scotty Scheffler and how good he is since he was a youngster at Texas. So, yeah, Scotty Scheffler's immensely talented. Not surprised at all to see what he's doing. Yeah, Rebecca, no hat today. Had to switch it up. Had to switch it up on you. Just keep you on your toes. So, had to switch it up on you and keep your toes. Yeah, Kemper Keenan, I believe, DJ is a Gamecock fan. I do. Obviously, he went to Coastal. Listen, I think Kemper probably DJ's a Gamecock fan in the sense of just a casual fan. I don't think he's a guy that's going to go out of his way to promote South Carolina. His caddy does have the Gamecock logo on the scorecard holder, whatever. But his life is golf. You know what I mean? His life isn't South Carolina athletics. He's a fan in the sense of I think he'd claim the Gamecocks, but he's not going to go out of his way to be an ambassador for the University of South Carolina. Like, he didn't go there. You know what I mean? He didn't go there. Adam Mew, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, in the spirit of Masters Week, I thought, why not bring out the Masters polo? Why not? Brian Dean, I don't know if you're tuned in or not, but I just saw your order come through. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. Brian Dean putting in a merch order. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. You should have that by the spring game. If you're going. Todd Smith, what's going on? Appreciate you. Hunter says, pretty much series preview, midweek preview, and look back on the series Monday show. Something like that, Hunter. Again, it's just going to depend on what's going on that week. Yeah, for the most part, you've got it, though, Hunter. But, yeah, it's just going to depend on what's going on that week, what happens, what news drops. But, again, we've also got the Daily Crow, like today, for example. So it's not like you're going without content or anything like that. Yeah, so. Guys, I posed this question. Again, we're kind of jamming in a lot here before Shane Beamer speaks at 12:30. I posed this question, though, and I posted the graphic on social media this morning. But in 2005, Steve Spurrier had taken over as head coach in December of 2004, and the hype for South Carolina football at that time obviously was at a fever pitch due to the Gamecocks' new head coach. South Carolina, it was documented, put in 38,806 fans. 38,806 fans attended that 2005 spring game, including, by the way, yours truly. I was there with my grandfather and my brother. We were at the spring game. My question to you is this. Obviously, again, I think we have just as much, or we have as much excitement for South Carolina football since that 2005 spring game. There's as much hype around Carolina football for a spring game, I will say, right, as there's been in quite a while. Do you think South Carolina eclipses that 38,806 number? What are your thoughts? I will tell you this. I'll go ahead and go on the record and say I do not think that number will be eclipsed. I do not think so. Just simply put, guys, with the way everything is more expensive, the increased price of travel, Easter weekend, and streaming options, right? You didn't have that in 2005. Like, it was either you go or you just depend on your local news station to give you the highlights and give you the updates. I think when you factor all that in, I do not believe that we will hit that number. I do not believe we will hit that number. I do not. I think it'll be slightly below it. I could see us being 30,000, maybe 32,000. I think there'll be a good crowd, but I think for all those reasons, I still just think that because of streaming opportunities, streaming options, I just don't think you'll see that 38,000 number. I don't think you'll see that eclipsed. I mean, listen, I'd love to get to a point where we're like a Georgia or Alabama. You're putting 90,000 in there, 80,000 in there for a spring game. And I think if South Carolina won a national championship or was winning 12 games a year, they would probably do that. But realistically, we're not, right? I mean, realistically, we're just not. So we're not there yet. Let's see. Austin Greer says it's also brutal to watch. Last year wasn't even really a scrimmage. Austin, that is a great point, and that is a great point, and you know, you don't want to like kill the hype and the excitement for a spring game, but it is a glorified scrimmage. And last year, you know, it was not a spring game like we even saw in 2005. It wasn't like that at all. It wasn't a spring game like we saw in 05. It was a lot of, you know, drills and then situational. And I mean, really what the spring game, Austin, what it serves as, it just serves as an opportunity to see guys in uniform. I mean, really, that's all it is. Just to see the players. That's it, right? Like what I'm probably, and we'll talk about this a lot next week, guys, with, you know, I'll have tons of spring game content and, you know, what I'm most looking forward to and top players to watch and all that good stuff. But I mean, really, probably what I'm most looking forward to is literally just like seeing Spencer Rattler in uniform. So just literally seeing Spencer Rattler in uniform. You know, seeing the new guys in uniform. I mean, outside of that, man, as I said last year, and I'll say it again, you can't draw conclusions from a spring game. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. And listen, I love the passion of Gamecock fans. Love the passion of SEC fans. I love the passion of SEC fans. I do. Love the passion of, you know, college fans in general. But you'll just drive yourself batty. You'll just drive yourself batty trying to draw conclusions from a spring game. You know, just enjoy it for what it is. It's a celebration of the end of spring. It's a celebration of, you know, the hard work, I should say, the coaching staff has put in. But, you know, it's no more than that. You know what I mean? It's no more than that. But it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Going to be a blast. Like I said, just going to be a lot of fun to have Gamecocks congregate again and, you know, enjoy the spring game and everything that entails, if you will. So, Jason Derrick, is the spring game live, televised, or delay? If live, I plan on going to Sports Bar on cruise ship to watch. I mean, Jason, it's live. Yeah, it's on SEC Network Plus. It will be live at 7 o'clock that night. So, I mean, you can stream it. It's not on like the big channel or anything, but you can certainly stream it. Keith says, who pitches tomorrow in the Big Cock Club Discord? I would assume Eli Jones will get the start again. If it's not him, I mean, maybe an Aiden Hunter, but I would assume it's Eli Jones again. I don't know, Keith. I'll talk about the game more so in depth later today, but I'll be honest with you, I don't have high expectations. I hate to say it, but yeah. I mean, Keith, I'll say this. Listen, I don't want to. I don't know. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. I mean, we're to a point, Keith. We're pretty damn close. We're pretty close to a point where another series loss or two, and there's a lot of season left, but there isn't in a way. You know what I mean? Like there is, but there isn't. Like you don't have 162 games to figure this out, right? And so another series loss or two, and you're pretty much banking on us not making the postseason. And it's going to be more of a conversation around, do we even make the SEC tournament? Because right now, guys, I don't know if you realize this, but South Carolina is tied for the worst SEC record at 3-6. And the Gamecocks have the worst overall record in the conference. So as much as I love baseball and love South Carolina baseball, I don't blame Gamecock fans for feeling some type of way about the rest of this season. Like I really, really don't. I don't blame Gamecock fans for feeling some type of way. I don't. Yeah, Brian, this is a polo from the Masters, the Augusta National. Boom. Love it. Yeah, I got this back in like 2014. I've probably worn it less than 10 times, truly. Rebecca Standards. Well, I will tell you the spring game is free. I know for you, obviously, there'd be travel costs coming down from Tennessee. But the spring game is indeed free. So, let's see. Hunter Herlong, outside of that, looking forward to the bush lights at the tailgates. I hear you. The bush lights at the tail. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Jimmy Clark caught me off guard with that. You got to think, like, when's the last time I didn't wear a hat on the Daily Crow? It's been quite a while. So, yep. I'll tell you this, you're a real day one if you remember back in the day when I used to wear like golf attire on. At that point, that was the Daily Crow, but I used to wear like golf attire and like live whatever event, or whenever I do live streams and stuff like that, I would wear golf attire. So yeah, used to wear like a Titleist hat and all that. I mean, it's weird. It's like you're either like fully engulfed in golf or you're not. At least for me, like. I'm either playing golf like 3 to 4 times a week, or I'm just not playing at all. And obviously I have not played. I think I've played golf twice over the past like 8 months. Yeah, just, we got other stuff to do. I'm busy. Tiger Woods is plus 5,000, by the way, to win the Masters. There's no way it happens, but wouldn't that be something? Brandon Wagner, don't think I've ever been so pumped for a spring game. Let me ask you this, Brandon. Again, you say that, and that's awesome. What is it specifically you're pumped about? What is it specifically you're excited? Are you excited just to see the guys in uniform? Are you excited to see anything? Like, is there anything specific? You know what I mean? Is there anything specific that you were excited about? Is there anything specific you're excited about? I'm just curious. I have things I'm excited about, but I'm just curious. Is there anything that, Austin Gurr says seeing Spencer Rattler play 3 drives in the Gamecock uniform. Austin, I think 3 might be a little aggressive. I don't know that he even plays 3. It's interesting because Rattler, obviously he needs the reps and they need the to build chemistry and all that, but I think Rattler 2 drives. Yeah, like I said, maybe 3. I mean, there's no point in keeping him out there much longer than that. Again, will it be like last year? Will it be like last year where it's a lot of just drills and then, they basically did 7-on-7 situational type stuff. Again, I'm not trying to kill the hype of the spring game, but I just, I'd like to see them play. I'd like to see them play in like a real game type situation and not do what they did last year. I just last year was it was just, outside of people freaking out over Jason Brown, there really wasn't a ton that jumped out at you. Brian Dean, will Stogner play? Brian, well, Stogner's not even on campus, so no. Stogner will most certainly not. He's not even like on the roster right now, Brian. By the way, a lot of people have been asking me this. So I do want to put this out there, and I don't know what the school's plan in regards to promoting the event is, but in case you guys didn't realize, the spring game is a free event in which you don't need tickets. So, yeah. The spring game is a free event in which you don't need tickets. As far as last year you needed them because I think of COVID and they were only allowing a certain number of people in the stadium. As far as I understand this year, it is just show up, no tickets needed. It's obviously 100% free. So I've had a lot of people asking about buying tickets to the spring game. And I'm like, man, I could be ripping a lot of y'all off, man. $50 tickets to the spring game. You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't need tickets. You don't need tickets. It's a free event, wide open to everybody. Austin Greer, you going to Ole Miss in the spring game? I think that's going to be the plan. That's going to be the plan. I mean, listen, people, I know, Will from Dirty Myrtle and others have asked about, throw a tailgate. Guys, I know we're all excited, but who in the world is going to be out there at 1 o'clock tailgating a spring game? I think it's probably smartest to go to the baseball game in the spring game.
Robbie Davis, a.k.a. Kirk Street.
Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You're looking pretty spiffy in that Masters polo there, my guy.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good.
To answer your question about I wanted to say something about the baseball team. I'm to the point now. I just want to see us at least look like we want to be there. Okay, because the last couple of games that I was actually able to watch, it literally looks to me now. To me, it just looks like we just don't want to be there, like at all. It's like the what's the word I'm looking for here? The passion to play is not there, and that's just my opinion. Again, like I've always said, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but that's mine. And the main goal in the next few weeks, especially leading up to the spring game, like I've also said, don't have any injuries at all. If we do, just make sure they're not like horrible season-ending injuries. Because one year, me and my dad and my brothers, we went to the spring game one year, and I can't remember who it was that got hurt, but someone got hurt so bad that they actually stopped the spring game with like 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter back when Spurrier was here. And so I just want to see us not have anybody get hurt at all, to be honest with you. Because if we can go into the, I guess you could say the preseason with no injuries, that would be great. Because if I remember correctly, last year we had a couple of players coming into the season that were still iffy, like Doty, along with a couple of others. But yeah, I just want to see us get out of there with no real major injury issues. And I personally think if Rattler has any drives, he'll have at the most 2 and at the least like 1.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
My cousin TJ now, but my cousin TJ, as of last night, he officially kind of sort of is mad at me.
Yeah, sucks to be your cousin for sure.
Me out and saying, yeah, he chewed me out and was like, he was basically saying, don't ever pull for North Carolina again. Because he was like, every time you pull for somebody outside of South Carolina, they wind up losing.
Yeah, you put the hex on them.
I was like, well, we went to the Carolina Hurricanes game and they won, so there you go. So I told him that.
Yeah, that was like I said, I didn't watch a second of the game, but I was checking in on social media, and tough night to be a heel, that's for sure. Tough night to be a Tar Heel.
Yeah. Oh, and fun fact about the Augusta National, by the way. My father, back when he was a pastor, whenever he wasn't like during the week, he would help a friend of his clean carpets and floors and stuff at like stores and stuff. And one time he had to go clean a couple of the clubhouses at Augusta National.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, those things, they're really old, but they look like really nice for how old they are.
Oh, for sure. Everything at Augusta National, man, is top notch. It's all top notch. Robbie, appreciate you calling in, my guy. We're gonna go ahead, real quick. We're gonna jump on to Shane Beamer's presser in the next minute.
Used to live just like you. I used to also live about 10 minutes from Augusta National.
Very good.
That's it.
Very good.
Have a good one, okay?
Robbie, appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, take care. All right, cool. Let's jump into Shane Beamer's press conference here. He is about to speak to the media. Here. So we will partake in this, and we'll take your questions after the fact. All right, cool.
Looks like we still got some people working their way back from Minnesota, huh? Apparently, so appreciate you guys. Mike's a trooper. I know he just got back last night, so thanks for being here. Sorry I'm a little bit late. We got started a little bit late. Looks like we still got some people working their way back from Minnesota, huh? Apparently, so appreciate you guys. Mike's a trooper. I know he just got back last night, so thanks for being here. Sorry I'm a little bit late. We got started a little bit late. This morning had two of the greatest NFL players of all time here to speak to our team this morning. Randy White of the Dallas Cowboys and Mike Singletary from the Chicago Bears were in town and visited with our guys this morning. So they both scared the ever-living heck out of me, so I wasn't about to tell them to stop talking. They could go as long as they want, but had a fantastic bring a national championship back to the capital city of South Carolina. What a great job they did all year long. I mean, to have every single team they play, that is their game of the year when they play the South Carolina Gamecocks, and to just keep beat teams after week after week after week, and then ultimately win a championship was awesome. It was great seeing so many Gamecocks up there in Minneapolis. Our Gamecock Nation showed why they are the best in the world, and it was awesome seeing a lot of great friends and great Gamecocks up there as well, and honored and grateful that I could be a part of it. Certainly makes me appreciate living in the South and living in SEC country after the weather up there as well. No disrespect to the people in Minnesota. They were fantastic, but it is great to be back down here in SEC country and SEC weather as well. But back on the practice field this morning, had our first scrimmage last Saturday. I thought it went well. Defense played great. Way too many turnovers offensively in our scrimmage. We've got to get that corrected. Can't win football games when you turn the ball over like we did last season, and then what we did on Saturday as well. So we got to get that corrected. Had a lot of our guys on offense that did not play in the scrimmage just because of some injuries. Nothing long term, just still some short term things where guys weren't able to go, but still no excuse to turn the ball over like we did. But credit our defense; they led the SEC last year in takeaways, and they did that and then some on Saturday. It's good to be back on the practice field this morning for practice number 10. Good spirited practice out there today. We'll practice again Thursday, scrimmage again Saturday, and then head right into next week, and then ultimately the Garnet and Black game next Saturday night, which again I want to encourage and challenge our fans to be there on that Saturday night. It's going to be an amazing environment. We've got a ton of recruits that are coming. It's a great opportunity to see our team and support them and the way that they've been working since we started the 2022 year. And I know our guys are excited about a great environment in Williams-Brice Stadium next Saturday night, and can't wait to see Gamecock Nation there for it. I can remember my first year at Georgia. Coach Kirby Smart challenged get the Georgia Bulldogs to come out and support that group in year one, and they packed it out and had a sold-out Sanford Stadium. And what an amazing experience that was for so many people that were there that day, and especially a lot of the recruits that were there that day that led to what you see that program is doing right now. So every day matters. Every opportunity to be in Williams-Brice Stadium matters, and we need Gamecock Nation to show out next Saturday night. So appreciate all you guys being here. I see that Ben is now on the golf beat apparently as well. Apparently he thinks that Tiger Woods playing in the Masters is more important than what we have to talk about with spring practice right now. So that's a little disappointing as well that he's not here. But I think some of our coaches and players may be more interested in Tiger's plans as well. But happy for Ben to have that opportunity to be at Augusta. I think they got rained out over there today, so he should have plenty of time to tune in and get his football work done today as well. So just kidding, Ben. Miss you. Look forward to seeing you back. Glad to take any questions.
Shane, do you have an early favorite to win the Masters this weekend?
I don't. I haven't gotten into it enough yet. So give me a couple days on that one. So I've been watching a lot of golf, but on the weekends.
And I guess you talked about the scrimmage bit. Were there any other things that kind of stood out to you outside of the turnovers that you liked, didn't like, and want to see improve going into the Saturday?
Yeah. I thought defensively, I thought we really tackled well. That stood out. A lot of times early on, you see missed tackles and just kind of sloppy play, and we didn't have that column. We tackled really, really well, open field tackles. The other side of the spectrum is offensively, our guys that carry the ball, they got to do a better job of making people miss because they didn't win a lot of one-on-one battles from a tackling standpoint. I thought the pass protection was pretty good for the most part. Wasn't like our quarterbacks were running for their lives all day, particularly with that first group. That first offensive line, really pleased with their progress and what they've done so far as well. The mechanics of calling plays and things like that. We didn't have substitution errors and too many pre-snap penalties. I thought it was a fairly clean day from that standpoint. Offensively, just perimeter blocking out there at the receiver position and tight end positions got to continue to be better on the perimeter. We work way too hard at that to not be good at it. But, it was a solid first scrimmage, and then the defense, if you want to look at it, got the better hand, I guess, or the upper hand on Saturday. So I was eager to see how the offense would come back and respond today at practice, and I thought they did a great job.
Shane, Dawn said something that was pretty interesting last week, and I just wanted to get your opinions from a football standpoint. She shared that last year. She talked to some of her players, specifically the starters, saying, hey, look, your roles might change next year when you come back. And if you don't like it, embrace it or at least fake your role, especially in the world of the transfer portal and knowing that you have so many players that are new this year. Some of those starters going through spring ball might be a little bit different in comparison to some of the reps they got last year. Competition, I know you preach that all the time, but outside of that, how do you sell these players so that, number one, they do stick around and they don't go into the transfer portal?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the experience day in, day out here in this program, take the football part out of it. We want to make this a great experience where players know they can trust us. They want to be a part of this. They enjoy it. They know they're going to work hard, and it's going to be very demanding, and they're going to be held accountable. But it's a great experience that guys want to be part of. I think it starts with that, just the personal relationship to begin with. And then she's exactly right, and you could say that about a lot of different positions on our team right now. If you look at everywhere on offense, receiver, tight end, running back, you could argue and probably be right that the depth is better at every single position on offense right now than what it was last year. With the tight ends that are returning, with who we've added. We lost 2 running backs, but we got 3 returning, and we've added 2 in the transfer portal, what we've done at the receiver position and continue to do. So certainly there's more depth. There's a lot of guys that returned, and I think they all know that ultimately, me as the head coach, our coaching staff is always going to do what's best for the South Carolina football program, that ultimately we got to do what's best. What we have to do what gives us the best opportunity to win football games on Saturdays. And, our returners on offense, Josh Vann knows that we're glad you came back, but that doesn't mean that you're just going to go out there and catch 14 balls a game. Marshawn Lloyd and Juju, you guys finished the season well, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have 30 carries every single Saturday. It's a production business, and we talked about it this morning. Like, show us, don't tell us what you're going to do and all that stuff. Produce. And if you produce, then there'll be opportunities for you on the field. And I used Josh and Marshawn. I'm not saying that those guys feel that way, but just using those two guys as an example. Jaheim Bell, whoever. We've got a lot more pieces on offense, and we've got to continue to find who the guys are that can best help us. And I think all of our guys understand that at the end of the day, we have to do what gives us the best opportunity to win football games every single week.
Coach, you talked about the offense on Saturday. How'd Spencer? How would you grade Spencer's performance with the offense out there?
Yeah, Spencer was good. It was good to see him because for the first time he was in a scrimmage setting where we're signaling in plays and he's having to communicate in the huddle and the coaches aren't out there and there's SEC officials all around him. And I thought he was great. He didn't look like a guy that was lost out there by any stretch of the imagination. Certainly there's some plays he would like to have back. There's no doubt about it. We've got to continue to make sure that the guys that he's throwing to are making plays, for him as well. But I thought he did a good job of commanding the offense and operating and we all saw the areas, players and coaches, where we have to be better at, and it was a good learning experience for all of us on scrimmage number one.
TJ Sanders has gotten a lot of praise from a lot of coaches and players through this, spring ball. What have you seen from him in terms of growth from the time he got here to what you're seeing now?
Yeah, I've been buying stock in TJ since like mid-October of last year because I saw what he did on the scout team all last season. To the point where late in the year, those defensive coaches will tell you, I'm like, y'all need to just make sure you go back and watch what TJ Sanders is doing in practice because he's a guy that continues to get better. And he was in practice. He was a bear for our offensive line to try and block in practice. Last year, he and Jakeem Green were our two scout team defensive tackles in practice. So it was great for our offensive line because they're going against those two guys each day. But it was great for, you talked about TJ specifically because he really worked to get better last year. He's had a good winter in the weight room, and he's a guy that continues to impress. I know he had a really good day, last Saturday, and we're trying to find more and more ways to give him opportunities. And he's a great athlete. He'll tell you what a great basketball player he is if you ask him, but he's a really good athlete, and he's twitchy, he's disruptive and strong, and he just loves to compete. He's a guy that he's got great energy out there on the practice field when he's out there.
Shane, two questions for you. You mentioned the turnovers. Would you categorize them as offensive mistakes, or was it defensive guys making plays? And then two, you mentioned that the pass protection was pretty good. I'm just wondering what you thought about the pass rush.
I see what you did there, Corey. The interceptions, I think, was a little bit of both. I think it was certainly, the defensive guys understanding what was going on and being where they were supposed to be and making a play. But a couple of the throws were just dumb throws that we can't do here at this level. And we made a couple of the quarterbacks, Braden, really every quarterback, but Luke and Spencer was live on Saturday, meaning we tackled them. Normally you guys have been out there, they're in a green jersey, and we thud up, and it wasn't like we got to protect Spencer and Luke, so don't let them get hit. But Spencer and Luke have played in college football games before. And Luke scrimmaged the other day. He got out there and did a nice job. They've played in college football games. Colton has played in one. Braden Davis has never played in one. So we made them live, and they did a nice job because it gets back. They're both competitors, and anytime I blow the whistle in practice, they don't believe that they got tackled. They think that they made that guy miss or ran him over or whatnot, so they wanted to be, and they did a nice job. It was great for their development and of just knowing that they can't sit back in the pocket and pat the ball all day when the pass rush is coming. They got to get rid of it. But, Braden had a nice scramble and a long run and things like that. So I go back to, what you said. It was good to make them live, and it was good for them to just understand the speed of the game and how things have to operate. And I think the pass rush was good. Jordan Birch had a nice day. Jordan Strawn had a nice day, continuing to try and figure out behind those guys with the pass rush. Who's the next guy going to be? Is it Terrell Dawkins? Is it Hot Rod Fitton? Is it Tyreek Johnson? Is it Gilbert Edmond? Whoever it may be. And those guys all flashed. And then to me, the pass rush is not just those guys on the edge. It's the tackles inside, and it's the linebackers when we bring them on pressures. And one of the interceptions was we brought a defensive back on a pressure, and the safety made the interception and things like that. So I was pleased, overall with that.
Been a couple weeks since we last asked you about the place kicking competition. What can you share about what's going on there to this point?
Yeah, right now, Jeter and Herrera are getting most of the reps there. Like we talked about before, Jack Luckhurst is in the program, but he's not 100% healthy right now, so he's not able to go. So those two guys are getting the majority of the kicks, and it's certainly a battle. We kick field goals in the scrimmage. We kick them every practice, but we also kicked them as they came up in the scrimmage the other day, and all those guys did a nice job, and Herrera had a big kick at the end of the scrimmage. I mean, it was a longer one that he came out there, and I forget the exact yardage, but I mean, it was a lot of distance, and he didn't flinch and stepped up and nailed it. So we're excited to continue to see those guys as they develop and compete, and being in the stadium for the spring game next weekend will be great for them too, just kicking in front of crowds like that and whatnot. But they're older guys. It's time for them to take the next step, and they're certainly well on their way.
How would you describe the offensive line Saturday? Take a step forward, didn't move anywhere, or take a step back?
I think took a step forward. Talked about it a minute ago. They did a nice job from a pass protection standpoint, and I thought they did a good job. I mean, they're playing physical. They're playing with great. They've got experience back there, so they look like an experienced group that returns everyone. They're blocking a really good defensive line out there in practice every day, and a lot of times you look at a running play and you say, well, it went for 2 yards. The offensive line must stink, and it's not always the case. I mean, we first played the scrimmage, offensive line blocked great, and missed a block at the receiver position, and allowed a guy to make a tackle for a 1 yard gain, and that's what I'm talking about with everybody doing the right thing from a blocking standpoint: receivers, tight ends, running backs, offensive line. But I like the offensive line group and the way they're working. Those guys that have returned have continued to take steps. Eric Douglas and Javon Gwynn have been really, really steady, and are doing a great job leading that group as Wanham continues to get healthy, and then everybody else that returned, been pleased with what they've done, so far as well. They're getting better. So, yes, took a step forward in my mind.
Shane, some of the teams that you've been around, especially the good offenses, when do they start to get things clicking? Because obviously defenses are usually going to be ahead of the offense, especially at this time of the year at the beginning of training camp.
Yeah.
But when do you usually see that page start to flip for them?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. There were years at Virginia Tech going up against Bud Foster's defense every day that really didn't start clicking until like game 1 when you went out there on Saturday, just because you were going against Bud's defense every day in practice, and you're like, my God, either they're really, really good or we ain't very good on offense, and they were really good on defense. The offense is always going to be behind. There's no question about it. The fact that on Saturday, DeCarrion didn't scrimmage, Juju didn't scrimmage, E.J. Jenkins didn't scrimmage, Leggett was scrimmage but wasn't probably 100%. So I mean, there were a lot of key players that weren't out there, but that's no excuse. It's a great opportunity for those other guys. I've been other places, Mike, where the offense is rolling. I went out there my first year at Oklahoma, and we got an offense with Kyler Murray and CeeDee Lamb and Hollywood Brown and all these guys. On the first day of spring practice, it's like up and down the field, and I'm like, wow, it's pretty good. So I think every situation's different, but I think our offense is certainly, I don't want to say ahead of schedule, but not disappointed by any stretch of the imagination with where they are right now, nor the defense. I think both those guys both those sides of the ball are doing a great job of working and competing and making each other better right now. And the offense had some, did some really nice things today as well in practice, and eager to get in there and watch the tape and see where we can continue to improve.
Some of those guys you mentioned on offense who were out on Saturday, do you know yet if they'll be available this coming Saturday for the next scrimmage? Or
I would say of those ones I just named, a lot of them would be, as we go into it. Nobody's one that we sit there and just say they're out, here for the rest of the spring. We're hopeful that they'll continue to be able to, come back a little bit. We got some defensive backs that are banged up. Tyrese Ross, he hasn't been able to do much. Darius Rush, he's got a little bit of a groin that he's battling. So we got a lot of receivers and DBs that are missing right now. But we're really pushing hard, and they're pushing hard as players to get back out there.
I know Jaheim's kind of been banged up too with that hamstring. Is there any hope of getting him back maybe before spring ends?
I hope. I know about 2 weeks ago, one of y'all or somebody asked me if he was out for the rest of the spring because that was the word, and I didn't think he was. I don't think he's going to be one that'll practice this week, but he tells me that he's working hard and continuing to get better and things like that. So we certainly need to get that hamstring under control for him. He's doing a nice job of doing what he can, but he's not full speed right now, which is disappointing. Good. All right. Thank you, guys. See y'all soon. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for Shane Beamer speaking today to the media, updating us all on spring practice and how that is going. So there you have it, Shane Beamer with the media. Don't think anything really earth-shattering coming from that press conference. I mean, what are you really going to draw and pull from a presser in the spring, other than it sounds like a lot of guys are on the sideline? And I'm sure, again, they're being careful with a lot of guys. I mean, guys, we don't play for 5 months, so I don't see any reason to try to to push guys or, anything like that. But it'll be interesting to see who's available and who's not. Who's available and who's not for the spring game in 11 days. So we'll see. Hopefully there aren't too many fans that, you come to see somebody and you're frustrated, you're upset. I mean, I would probably guess right now, guys, I would assume Jaheim Bell's probably not going to play. Beamer mentioning that Dak Joyner, Juju, and E.J. Jenkins all missed the scrimmage on Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, this just in, League of Boston's been named the 2022 Wooden Award winner for Most Outstanding Women's College Basketball Player. Boston has officially won all 5 of the National Player of the Year awards. Really good stuff. Coach Ford chiming in, of course, as he always does, says, I'll put my money on Clayton White's defense over be physical and run the ball Satterfield. Thank you for that valuable input, Coach Ford, and applause for you, sir. Very, very good comment as always from you, Coach Ford. Let's see. Again, it's almost, guys, it's almost kind of crazy to me. Not crazy, but the way football moves the needle and everything, that we have these weekly press conferences updating practice. Like, can you imagine for any other sport, we were like hanging on every word in regards to practice? Like, does anybody want to hear about, fall ball for South Carolina baseball and what we're doing on the mound and swinging the bats? And like, does anybody really want to hear that? So it's, again, football. We love it, how it moves the needle. But, yeah, I just don't think anything, anything over the top that you're going to hear from Beamer. He's not going to come out and, give you detailed play-by-play, breakdown and everything. Guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, still, though, a lot to get into. Baseball moved to tomorrow. And I want to talk about, we are going to jump into a quick break, believe it or not. But I want to get your thoughts on this piece from a buddy of mine, Brad Crawford. Brad Crawford over at CBS Sports, 247 Sports, I should say. 247 Sports, I apologize. My good buddy Brad Crawford, though, talking SEC football and projecting the preseason win totals for every single team. I don't think it was actually him. It was, I believe, Bud Elliott. Why did I say Bud Foster? Bud Elliott, 247 Sports national analyst. They projected every single SEC team's win total this season, and they've also given a lean for each program, how they would pick it based off of that. Again, in case you missed it, WinBet dropped the official SEC West win totals. We're waiting on SEC East. But again, guys, I'd love to. Let's go through those. I want to hear from you, your thoughts on that. Would you take the over? Would you take the under? And, of course, we'll get to South Carolina's, and I want to get your full thoughts on that. Again, guys, we're rocking, we're rolling here on this Tuesday, taking your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. Coach Ford says, sorry, Chris, I'll try to mimic your negativity more in the next post. I'll have to wait until Wednesday night. I forgot we were listening to Ray of Light 6 and 6 Beamer. I will wait for you to catch up with me on Facebook. Coach Ford, the day I stop giving you shit is the day that I stop doing the Daily Crow. And I mean, listen, have I been negative about baseball? I just call it as I see it. Like, we have a losing record 27 games in, Coach Ford. And there is a different expectation. Just be realistic. There's a different expectation for baseball than there is for football. Bottom line, I mean, there just is. There just is. There is a much higher standard and expectation. Yes, 7 and 6 for Carolina football is a pretty good year. But Coach Ford, that's not what you do, though. Coach Ford, you're like literally bitching in the sprint. Like, let us lose first. That's all I'm saying. Like, let us lose first. I mean, I'm going to be very realistic and keep it a buck with making predictions and projections and all that. But I mean, let me ask you this: Are you at all excited for Spencer Rattler in the offense? I mean, I think that could go one of two ways. This fall could prove that Satterfield is truly completely incompetent, or it could go as this season's going to prove that, wow, Satterfield just really had nothing to work with last year. And that, oh, now that he's got a capable quarterback, added some pieces offensively, now we are competent offensively and we're scoring points. We're averaging 30-plus points per game. Because, I just, to your point, and you look at the offensive numbers and where you finish, no excuse. But I'm just, and I know everybody's first inclination is to blame the coach. I get that. They're the ones getting paid. Put it on them. But, I mean, man, when you look back to what we were working with under center, I mean, what did you expect? I mean, I just, if you would have told me that in preseason, I would have said the offensive numbers are about exactly where they should be when you're working with a GA and an FCS transfer. So I put it 50-50. I think it was certainly, I mean, partly on Satterfield. I mean, listen, there's no excuse for having 11 yards of offense in the third quarter like you did against A&M. But, I mean, also you didn't have a lot to work with at times. So, hopefully what we saw in the bowl game, and again, that was a porous UNC defense, but hopefully what we saw in the bowl game is a ray of light and gives us hope that, you know, with a mobile quarterback, a capable quarterback under center, they're able to move the football. Connor Lee says, feel like there's no reason we should not put up 24-plus points per game. Connor, I think you got to hit 30. I really think 30-plus. I'm sorry, bro. You have a generational type talent at quarterback. You return all these guys you're bringing back. And again, I'm not saying there aren't guys with a lot to prove, if you will, at certain positions. But, dude, you got to score, in my opinion, 30-plus. I really believe that. You got to, dude. You got to. Yeah, I say 30-plus points per game is the number I'm looking for. And that might sound aggressive, but, again, man, you got Spencer Rattler at QB. You add Austin Stogner. You add all these guys from the transfer portal. Your top 8 offensive linemen are back. I don't care how bad they were last year. Your top 8 O-linemen are back. Again, it's to give credit to Coach Ford, I'll say this. I mean, if the offense doesn't work this year, it falls on one person. One person, that's Satterfield. It falls on one guy. So, because it feels like at least the pieces are there. The pieces are there. So, and Nick Marshall says 30-plus needs to be the new standard. Well, I mean, it's the game of college football today, man. You got to score. I mean, you got to be able to score. Like, again, teams are not winning games 20-17, 17-14. Yeah. You got to be able to score, bottom line. Again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Coach Ford, exactly the entire O-line returns. We have a guy like Rattler, a stable running backs. Yeah, Coach Ford, I'd agree. There's no excuse. I mean, we should be able to move the football. There's no doubt. And I'm not saying that means we're going to win 9-10 games, but at minimum what it should mean is that when you play teams like Georgia State, Charlotte, SC State, Vandy, Mizzou, like, you should be able to score. Like, You shouldn't have a game like you had against A&M last year. You shouldn't be 21-20 against Vandy. You shouldn't struggle the way you did offensively last year. You just shouldn't, bottom line. And if you do, again, it falls on one guy. Guys, let's transition into, as I talked before the break, these SEC win totals from my guy Brad Crawford over at 24/7 Sports, and he partnered with Bud Elliott, a national analyst with 24/7. He partnered with a national analyst at 24/7. And by the way, shout out to our guy Brian Lattimore, who won the tournament challenge. Congratulations, Brian. Hit me up for your free merch. I was actually going to look at that today, and I forgot and announce it, but Brian Lattimore, you won. Congratulations. Anyways, my guy Brad Crawford and his buddy Bud Elliott released their projected win totals for each and every SEC team. Let's run through these really quickly. Again, these are projections. These are not via a casino. These are their projections, or Bud Elliott's projections, if you will. So I'm going to run down all of these, and then we'll save South Carolina for last. And you guys can let me know, what do you think over-under for each team. Missouri, their projection, the over-under win total is at 6 for the Tigers. Vanderbilt, over-under projected win total at 2. Mississippi State, over-under projected win total 7. Kentucky, over-under projected win total 7. Ole Miss, over-under projected win total 8. Auburn, projected win total 6. We'll save South Carolina for last. A&M, projected win total 9. Florida, projected win total 7. Arkansas, projected win total 7. Tennessee, projected win total 8. LSU, projected win total 7. Georgia, projected win total 11. Alabama, projected win total 11. Okay. So, South Carolina, again, saving us for last. And I saved this one for last because I can't wait to hear y'all's reaction. And again, this is not via casino. This is Bud Elliott of 24/7 Sports, a national college football analyst. His projected overall win total, right? Projected over-under win total for South Carolina, 6. And if the total's 6, I'll tell you this. If that total comes out at 6, Gamecock fans are going to jump all over that. Travis also says, sounds like a lot of mediocrity except Georgia and Bama. I mean, Travis, okay. That's something else I don't like, though, about college fans or just fans in general. We've put such an emphasis on just winning championships, and you're judged off rings and you're judged off titles. Like, so are you saying, Travis, if you go 8-4, you're mediocre? I mean, even if you go 7-5 in the SEC, are you mediocre? Like, you can be a good team but not be the best team. It's possible. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call Tennessee a mediocre team. I wouldn't call Kentucky mediocre. I certainly wouldn't call A&M mediocre. I know we put emphasis on rings and titles, and Coach Ford says about right. Could be 5 or 7. I'll tell you this, Coach Ford, if South Carolina goes 5-7, I mean, that will be a disastrous season. Disastrous. And again, later this summer, I will release my best case, worst case scenarios for the season. I'm willing to say right now, I think 5-7 is probably the worst case scenario, realistic worst case scenario for this team. And I say realistic because a lot of people will say, well, best case, you could go 12-0, and worst case, 0-12. But a realistic best case, worst case, I think 5-7 is probably worst case. I think 5-7 is. I'm just saying though, Coach Ford, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying though, if hypothetically, if South Carolina were to go 5-7, it would be a disastrous year. I think if I were to project the win total right now, and I'm thinking in the gambling sense of like I want even money on both sides, I think 6.5. I think 6.5. And I know that fans will still say, hammer the over. I think 6.5 is a good number, though. I really do. I think, again, it would, Coach Ford, like I said, I have not dropped My official predictions, I dropped way too early, but I haven't dropped my official predictions. It would surprise me if this team missed a bowl game. It would surprise me. Like, it would really, really surprise me. Because when you look at the schedule and you should have 3 kick-in non-conference wins plus Vandy, I mean, that's 4 games right there. And then you've got the Mizzous of the world, the Kentuckys, the Arkansas, the Tennessees, and then you start thinking about other games. But it would shock me if this team missed a bowl game. I mean, listen, I would say is 6-6 disaster? I think disaster is a strong word. I think it's disappointing. Yeah, I think it's I think it's, and I understand that from fans. I think it'd be disappointing to have the same exact record as you had in year one after adding all the pieces you added. But again, what I caution fans is this. I caution fans to not take the attitude of, well, we won X amount of games last year, so we should win Y amount of games this year. It just doesn't work out that way. It just doesn't work out that way. Right? It doesn't work out that way. Rosters change, coaches change, schedules change, situations change. So you can't say, well, because we won this many last year, we should or we're supposed to win this many this year. However, with that being said, like I said, I will totally understand, and I'll be frustrated myself if South Carolina's not at least able to improve on that win total by a game. Again, you just don't add a player like Spencer Rattler and not expect to improve. You just don't do it. We got a text here. Let's see. It says, what's up, Spurs Up Show? What's your score prediction for South Carolina, Kentucky, and South Carolina, Mizzou? I'll be honest with you. I'm not ready to lock in any score predictions for any games this season. Again, I'm not even ready to lock in like game-by-game predictions, guys. You'll have to wait until I think my schedule, the way the schedule works out, I'm going to drop that the week of July 4th. After the July 4th holiday, because the holiday is on Monday, I will drop that the week of July 4th, a couple days after. And I'll do it just like I've done in the past with part 1 dropping and then part 2. And at that point, I'll drop my scores and all that good stuff, and I will lock in. Those will be my predictions for the rest of the way out. But, those are 2 very important games. I mean, if fans want to talk about A&M and Georgia and Clemson. Bro, you got to get back to beating Mizzou on a regular basis. You got to get back to beating Missouri. You need to get back to beating Kentucky. And I'll tell you this, though, guys. Here's the reality when it comes to that game. Here's the reality. South Carolina travels to Lexington, a place that we have not won since 2012. And Jason Derrick says, if we go undefeated, I'm hosting a TSUS party, all alcohol on me. Jason, we will not go undefeated, so you won't have to worry about that. Let's just get that out of the way, Jason. I love your hope and optimism, but I'm sorry I have to be the one to crush your dreams, but it's not going to happen. Here's the reality, though, because we talk about that Kentucky game every year, and we say, well, to be a real contender, you got to beat Kentucky. Maybe it's time we change our perception of Kentucky. Maybe it is. Maybe it's time we give Kentucky credit. And I tried to do that last year. I did do it to the dissatisfaction of Gamecock fans. I gave Kentucky probably as much credit, if not more, than any South Carolina content creator out there the week of that game, right? Heck, I picked Kentucky to win the game. I picked Kentucky in the preseason. I picked them the week of. And many folks were upset with that. But maybe it's time we look at Kentucky football in a different light. Because I understand Kentucky still has the stigma of they're terrible, we should beat them every year. That's just not the case anymore, guys. Like that. That's just not Kentucky. That's not them. And the results on the field show it. You've lost 7 of 8. I'm not sitting here telling you that Kentucky has out-recruited you every year and that you should feel like it's some daunting task to play them. But you almost at this point, you have to tip your cap. You just have to. So you can't look at Kentucky going in this season and say that should be a kick-in win because it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And it's a discredit to the program that Mark Stoops and that staff have built to view the game in that light. And I know that hurts and that sucks because we want Kentucky to be in that bucket with a Vanderbilt, but it's just not anymore. It's just not. They've beaten you 7 of 8 times. And you can say, well, we should have beat them last year. Guys, you won the turnover battle 3-0 at home, and you still lost. So you can look at that and say, well, we should have beat them. I could look at that and say, you're lucky you didn't get blown out. You won the turnover battle 3-0 and still lost. So I do agree that for South Carolina to take the next step, get over a hump, if you will, you need to start beating Kentucky more often than not. But at least in the near future, is Kentucky football going to revert back to what they used to be and that just be sort of an easy game for you can chalk up as a W every year? I think that's, I don't think that's in the near future. So all I'm saying is maybe it's time we shift our perception of that game and that program up there in Lexington. Maybe it's time. And I hate to say that, but the SEC's gotten better, man. Everybody's gotten better, and that includes Kentucky. This is not the Kentucky of old. So, Cody Gaskins, and I know probably many of you are like, Chris, that's more Kentucky talk than I ever want to hear. It's just the reality, though. I mean, Kentucky, Mark Stoops, they've built a great program. And like I told you last year, it would have been more an indictment on Kentucky to lose the game than it was South Carolina. Carolina shouldn't have beaten Kentucky last year. Mark Stoops, year 9. Shane Beamer, year 1. Like, we weren't supposed to win that game. We were not supposed to win it. Nick Marshall, every year is different in so many aspects and should not be the basis for your opinion of next year. Okay to reflect on it, but do not make assumptions due to the previous years. Yeah, indeed. I mean, every year is its own individual thing. And listen, I'm sick of Kentucky too. And Travis Royal, it's not conceding to Kentucky. Travis, it's not conceding to Kentucky. And if you don't want to give them credit, fine, but we look silly. We look silly speaking on Kentucky in the breath with like a Vandy when it's like, bro, they're Kentucky won 10 games last year. Kentucky's, I hate to say it, guys, Kentucky's good. Kentucky's good. As much as it pains me to say, I mean, they're good. I hate it, but they are good. They went 10-3 last year, guys. 5-3 in the SEC. They're good. So they were a lot better than you they were better than you last year. So, I mean, you just have to at some point tip your cap. You have to at some point give credit where credit's due. Again, I don't disagree with the fact that you need to start beating them more often than not. I don't disagree with that at all. But and by the way, this is what my buddy Brad Crawford says about the projection of 6. Brad's best bet, he says, over. Well, odds makers undervalue the Gamecocks again in 2022 with an impressive transfer class coming in featuring Spencer Rattler, Austin Stoddard, and others. South Carolina could be a tricky adversary for the 3 teams in the SEC East. Most have ranked in the preseason: Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And guys, Kentucky, that's another thing. They're going to be a preseason top 25 team. Also says the first half of the season is vital towards passing this win total, notably the first 2 SEC games at Arkansas versus Georgia in weeks 2 and 3. I'm projecting an 0-2 start to SEC play with the Gamecocks, which means they'll have to beat Florida on the road and Tennessee in November to get to 7 wins prior to Clemson. This is not an official play, but take the over. Yeah, I mean, that Arkansas game is pivotal. Let's see. Cody Gaskins, it's a hard pill to swallow to say we've swapped roles, but hopefully Beamer will change that. It is. It hurts. It's tough. But, I mean, again, it's that's why I'm Cody, that right there is why I was so flabbergasted. Word of the day for you. I was so flabbergasted last week when some folks, were so quick to dismiss and write off, taking an 8-4 season. Like, oh, I'm going to roll the dice. I'm not going to take 8-4. It's like, guys, I know we've gotten better. I know we've added players. So has everybody else. Everybody else has gotten better too. So 8-4, guys, I would sign up for 8-4 this very instant. I would sign up for 8-4 this very instant. Coach Ford says, yes, we understand reflecting on last year. They lined it up to run. We couldn't run it. We understand, Coach Ford. I don't believe we could throw it either. You know what I mean? Like, we should have been able to run it, Coach Ford. It didn't make sense we couldn't run it. And it won't make sense to me if we can't run it this year either. It just won't make sense. It won't make sense. We should be able to run it, bottom line. I don't know. Guys, we're continuing to take your questions, your comments, your calls, rocking and rolling here on this Tuesday. Appreciate you all tuning in. We are going to jump into a quick break, though. Like I said, more of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Appreciate you all tuning in, guys. In case you missed it, by the way, podcast now dropping 3 days per week instead of 5. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the new release schedule. So if you were looking for the podcast this morning, if you were looking for the show this morning, that's why there wasn't one. It's because we have adjusted and made an adjustment going 3 shows per week to 5 shows per week. Of course, guys, the Daily Crow going to continue to be Monday through Friday, noon to 2. So, again, if you have any questions, let me know off the air. But, yeah, that is the new schedule. So, of course, podcast will drop tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Travis says, back to your question, says, Chris, I get it. You're right on Kentucky. I'm playing devil's advocate to a degree. I'm just absolutely disgusted on how we approach and play against Kentucky. Unfortunately, we have swapped roles, and until we get back to beating Kentucky, we'll not make headway in the East, in my opinion. Tyler Gay says, do you think that it's more mental or they just have more talent to why UK has beat us 7 of 8? I think it's mental. Well, Tyler, I think, part of it you could say is mental, but I think also, again, you have to give Kentucky credit. They've done a hell of a job developing. And, Shane Beamer is laying a foundation here, right? He started doing that last year. Started laying the foundation of a new culture and, again, developing players and evaluating talent and getting the guys we need. Well, Kentucky's been doing that for 9 years under Stoops. Like, Stoops has done a good job. That's what I'm saying. You have to give them credit. Mark Stoops has done a good job. So is Kentucky a more talented roster top to bottom? Maybe not. At least recruiting rankings wouldn't say so. I think what Gamecock fans don't want to hear is when you factor in scheme, development, I think the rosters are pretty damn close. Like, I know fans hate to hear that, but I think the rosters are pretty close. I do. Much closer than it's not some wide talent guy. It's again, guys, if we were that much more talented than Kentucky, we would be beating them. If we are that much more talented, we wouldn't be an underdog in those games. Guys, we're going to be an underdog again. We're going to be an underdog again. I mean, you look at the schedule this year. Games that we will be an underdog in, okay? Will we be a favorite? Will we be a dog? That's all I'm going off of. Georgia State, Charlotte. Well, let's go down the list. Georgia State, we're a favorite, okay? Arkansas, we're an underdog. Georgia, we're an underdog. Charlotte, SC State, we're favorites. If you're just going off of spreads, so we'd be 3-2 at that point. Kentucky, if you just took chalk, Kentucky, we're an underdog. That's an L, 3-3. A&M, we're certainly an underdog, 3-4. Missouri at home, I think we are a slight favorite, 4-4. At Vandy, we're a favorite, 5-4. Here's where it gets tricky. At Florida, are we a favorite at Florida? I don't know. I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on how the season's gone. But are we a favorite at Florida? I don't know. I don't know. Let's just say for fun we are. Let's say for fun we are. Okay? Let's say for fun we're a favorite. Florida's having a terrible year. Napier's first season not going well. 6-4. Again, we're just pretending like we're just playing chalk. We all know this isn't how it works. The game isn't played in a casino, but just for fun. 6-4. Tennessee at Clemson, you're underdogs in both games. So that's 6-6, guys. So you're going to be an underdog. Most likely in half your games. You're going to be an underdog. So when you see a win total come out from somebody that's 6 or 6.5, that's why. That's why. That's 100% why. Jeff Gullidge, I was at the A&M game last year. We got our shit kicked in. I was at the Missouri game, and we had numerous opportunities and blew it. Having said that, I think adjustments have been made, and we aren't close to A&M level, but we should be above Mizzou. 7-5, maybe 8-4 with the Arkansas game will be our most likely record. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think we're close to A&M. I think A&M guys, I question if we're ever going to beat them, to be honest with you. Travi, yes, Stoops has brought in players to fit their scheme. Absolutely, 110%. Tyler Gay says, I think the players press so much to beat them that they think too hard in that game. Tyler, I disagree, my guy. I mean, there's pressure to win every game. I don't agree with that necessarily. Let's see. We got a text here. The SC Georgia series is coming up. What does South Carolina do to secure a victory on Georgia this year? Well, and again, there's a reason I don't drop keys to the weekend or keys to a series. I feel like they're the same basically every time. I mean, what does South going to have to do to take 2 of 3? Well, listen, you're at home. So, I think just the bullpen's got to step up. Bullpen's got to pitch better. Got to be more consistent swinging it. Situational hitting's got to be better. And just keep getting good performances out of your starters. I mean, bottom line. And you need them to go deep into games. You do, because you just don't have the bullpen to ask certain guys to pitch 2-3 innings. You need Hall, Becker, and Sanders to go deep in the ballgame. I wonder, will they continue to throw Hall in game 1? Will they switch Will back to game? Who knows? I mean, it did well for you last week, or at least it worked in game 1. It didn't work the rest of the way, but it worked in game 1. But bottom line, you got to swing it, man. I mean, listen, at some point, you know what you're facing. You know what you're facing in regards to the pitching staff, lack thereof, whatever. So you got to swing it. Travis, well, line play will beat Kentucky. Well, that's, Travis, what you haven't had. You haven't had line play. That's what you have not had. So, yeah, I think to beat Kentucky, you have gotten, for the most part, physically whipped up front in that 7 out of 8 you've lost. So run the football, stop the run. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Connor Lee says, opening day, first round of Masters, my birthday on Thursday. What a day it'll be. Happy early birthday, Connor. And, yeah, that sounds awesome, dude. What a time that'll be. Yeah, I mean, of course, opening day, I think my buddies were grilling out some steaks and stuff like that and watching the Braves. So it'll be a lot of fun. And, yeah, dude, Masters getting going too. It's going to be a real, I'll have the Masters on in the studio and stuff like that. So it'll be a lot of fun. Austin Greer says, kind of sad Gamecock fans don't care about baseball anymore and are checked out already. Can't blame them, though. It is sad, Austin. It's very sad. It is. I can't even blame them, though. That's the worst part. I can't even blame them. It is sad. I mean, look, when you're 13-14 through 27, Tyler Gay says, man, the fans talk so much about that game and the players see that. It's just so hard for me to say we shouldn't beat those guys. Maybe I'm crazy, but either way, we've got to get that monkey off our back. Tyler, here's the thing, my guy. Like, fans can conversate. Fans can talk. My job is to talk. Players shouldn't be allowing what I say dictate their approach to a game or their thoughts on a game. Like, they shouldn't. And it's, guys, here's what separates TSUS from every other Gamecock media outlet, or Gamecock entity, I should say. Like, most of the other entities are going to dance around certain things or walk on eggshells because they don't want to say, guys, my job is not to make the players, the coaches, anybody within the University of South Carolina feel warm and fuzzy inside. What I do is keep a buck. What I do is keep it 100. I'm going to call it exactly as I see it. So if you stink, I'm going to say you stink. If you're good, I'll say you're good. That's it. If you're feeling some type of way about, oh, well, Chris said this about the series, so we have no chance, and I'm just going to do this. And you're a mentally weak human being, So the players see it. Well, I mean, I don't know. Use it as fuel. I don't know, man. Like, what, I know they're on social media and they see everything, but, like, my job, or what my goal is not to be, like, buddy best friends with these guys. I mean, I'd like to have a good relationship. And I think early on, that was more important to me than it is now. Certainly. Like early on when I first started doing TSUS, it's like, I'm a huge fan. I want players to like me. But guys, you just reach a point where you realize if you're going to keep it real and you're going to keep it 100, some players are not going to like you. And that's okay. Listen, I won't go into names or specifics. There's some Gamecocks, more so the recent ones, that you all know and love that do not like me. They're not fans of me. And that's cool. Some guys can't handle criticism. On the flip side, some guys understand. They understand where I'm coming from. They understand, hey, he has a job to do. Like, he's got to keep it real. He's going to do that. Nobody's immune from it. You know? Adam Ritter says, I pray players see it. I don't care if it hurts their feelings. Man up. Kingston and the team. Love it, Panic Ritter. Love it. Travis says, bottom line, whatever it is, get back to beating them or we will not be a threat in the East. Travis, listen, I agree. If you're going to ever realistically challenge Georgia, then you got to beat Kentucky more often than you lose to them. I mean, again, I don't think you're going to beat Kentucky like you beat Vandy. I don't think that's going to happen. And, you know, I don't think you're going to go on some 14-game win streak against them, but you need to beat them more than you lose to them. That's for sure. That's for sure. Anyways, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Man, I love it. We've just got this wide open Tuesday, so my brain is like all over the place of random things to talk about. Connor Lee says, if we lose our next 4 in baseball, do you think we still have a chance to postseason? I mean, technically, Connor, yes. Realistically, no. Jeff Gulledge, his question, I know a loss is a loss, but play with me. Let's say we go 6-6, all 6 L's. We had a chance to win in the fourth quarter, but didn't. Or go 7-5 with the 5 L's being blowouts, which is better. Which do you view as a step forward? Jeff, great question. Great hypothetical. Oh, damn, I heard that thunder. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Jeff, great question, and this is what I would say. As tough as it is, I think 6-6 with a bunch of close losses would be a lot better than 7-5 with 5 blowouts. Because in your hypothetical, 6 close losses, that means Georgia's close, A&M's close, Clemson's close, right? And if those are, which we'd expect, those are losses. Arkansas is close. Like, you're going toe-to-toe with the best teams. I think that shows you a lot more than, I mean, winning 7 would be great, but God, it would just suck to get blasted by Clemson again, to get blasted by Georgia, to get blasted by A&M. You know, that'd be tough. That would suck. So I'll take the close losses. I think that shows more that, hey, like and you can sell that a lot more. You can sell that a lot more to prospects than you can, getting blown out, in my opinion. At least, if you lose those games close, you can say to prospects, hey, like, we're just a couple pieces away. We're just a couple pieces away. When you're getting blown out, it's tough to say that. Travis is very hung up on that Kentucky loss last year. I will say, Travis, that was a game last year. Fans were damn near ready to jump ship at that point. That Kentucky loss really hurt people last year. People, and I knew it would happen, but folks went to that game with very unfair expectations. They did. And that was you might remember I went on a rant after that game because fans were ready to mail in the season. And I was like, guys, like, you just should have known better. You just should have known better. I mean, this was a team that was coming off of beating East Carolina by a field goal. Like, you should have known better. Tyler Gay says, I think for us to get to 8, we need to upset A&M. I think we can get to 8 without winning that one. I do. I think we can get to 8 without winning that game. Beat a Tennessee. Beat Florida. I think, I just, if you're, and I can see why, I've even said it before, the A&M could serve as like the best potential for a big upset. I actually would probably change my answer to Tennessee because it's late in the year. It's a home game, probably going to be at night. I don't know, man. I think A&M is so far ahead of you. They're just talent wise, they are. They are. I think talent wise, A&M is so far ahead of you. I'll tell you this too, my guy. I'll tell you this, everyone, that this baseball season keeps going the way it is. I mean, we might have to start the freaking NCAA simulations early. I mean, I don't know, man. Start something, whether it's a road to glory or something, because, I mean, it's brutal. It's just absolutely freaking brutal. I don't know. We might have to start it early. Because last year, we started the simulations, I think, what were we doing, like 3 per week or something? We can definitely stretch those out. That seemed a little ridiculous. I don't know. We'll figure that out either way. That content's awesome. Rebecca says that Kentucky can kiss her ass. We'd love to hear that. Love to hear that, Rebecca. Never too early to talk football. Never too early. Again, guys, in case you missed it, Gamecocks will take on UNC tomorrow night. Gamecocks will take on UNC tomorrow night in Charlotte, 7 o'clock first pitch. Of course, that game being moved to tomorrow night due to the weather in the city. So tomorrow night, Gamecocks and Tar Heels will go at it. We will still be live, of course, at Tin Roof in the Vista, 6 to 8. Well, we'll probably go 6 to like 7:15, 7:30, something like that. $3 drafts, $3 Rumple, $3 Fireball as well. So, going to be a good time as always at Tin Roof in the Vista. And like I said, guys, in case you missed it, podcast now dropping Monday, Wednesday, Friday instead of Monday through Friday. 3 shows per week instead of 5. That is the new release schedule for the podcast. Rebecca says, or let's see, Connor Lee says, do you golf? Connor, I grew up playing golf. I played golf and baseball, played competitive golf till I was 15. My dad played college golf. I don't really golf anymore. It's one of those things, man, where, I just stay busy with business and content and going to games and all that. And I mean, I do love golf, but I'll tell you this. I'm one of those people, because when I'm playing a lot, I can play well. Like I'm shooting in the 70s. And I'm very competitive, obviously, and that goes to the golf course. And golf is just too hard and too expensive to play as infrequently as I would play. I find no joy in going to the golf course and shooting 100. I just don't. That's not fun to me. That's not a fun. I have no joy paying to play badly. So if I was going to the range 2-3 times a week, playing twice a week, and playing a lot, then I'm going to play. I'm either playing a lot or playing none, basically. Tyler Gase is on a different note. What was for lunch today? Tyler, I actually haven't had lunch. Today. This is kind of getting off the record, but in case you guys did not know, I actually fast. So I do not normally eat till about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, believe it or not. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I do. Guys, we're going to take one final break, but I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so here in the Daily Crow here on this Tuesday, April the 5th, 2022. Appreciate you all tuning in, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. I don't know if you guys are around the Columbia area or if it's like this in your neck of the woods, but boy, it's dark as shit outside. I mean, it is dark. It is dark outside. So apparently we've got like a tornado warning or something like that. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know, man. Today might be a good day to just hunker down at the crib and, you know, like I said, let's try to get this live show. Let's try to get this live show finished before, God forbid, the freaking like power gets knocked out or something. I don't know. This is heck of a day. But either way, we're rocking, we're rolling here on this Tuesday. Appreciate you all tuning in, guys. Let's see. We do have a question. It's Justin. I feel bad for North Carolina basketball. Great game, great season. Congrats, Kansas. Chris, all we got left is the spring game, college baseball, golf, NBA, and MLB. That's all? He says that's all we got left. Shit, we got plenty to look forward to, my guy. April's a fantastic month, and I'll be spending the final week of April out of town. So content will keep rolling, but we're going to spend the final week of April out of town, which will be a lot of fun. Robbie also texts in and says, have you ever played disc golf? Yes, Robbie. Yes. So it's funny. I have played disc golf. Very fun, by the way. Very fun. And we used to play it a lot or a fair amount in high school. There was in North Augusta, if you're familiar with North Augusta, which I'm sure many of you are not, but at the rec, which is where we play baseball, the recreation department, recreation center, whatever, there is a disc golf course next to the field. So a lot of times we would play disc golf like after practice and shit. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, and I don't feel bad for UNC either. Like, nope, to hell with them. To hell with them. I don't feel bad for them. Again, guys, I didn't even watch the game. I got to be honest, I didn't even watch it. But I don't feel bad for them in the slightest. Yeah, that thunder is something outside. That thunder. Kentucky's game has been canceled also. Yeah, so Kentucky-Louisville will not happen. How about that? I'm surprised Clemson's playing. The weather must not be bad up there. I don't know. That's a little surprising they're playing. John Kruger, well, no kidding, you don't feel bad for UNC. You're a freaking Duke fan. So, as I said before, to hell with Duke and to hell with UNC. To hell with them both. So, why not? Yeah, I don't know. Clemson, Georgia set for 7 o'clock. Apparently, they're saying the forecast does not look good. We'll see. Bad weather rolling through the Carolinas, rolling through the Southeast. But should be a beautiful rest of the week. So, should be a beautiful rest of the week, no doubt. By the way, guys, I want to continue to hear from you. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Yeah, rain's, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I doubt you can, but the rain's really starting to come down now. So, starting to really come down now. By the way, guys, I'm hesitant to share this news with you. I'm hesitant to share this news. There's a chance, though. There's a chance that we're going to be having, I'll say this. I won't even share the name yet. There's a chance we're going to be having a current Gamecocks football player on the show for an interview. So, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get everybody's hopes up too high, but we're working on it with a current football player. We're working on it with a current Gamecocks football player. So just stay tuned. Again, guys, the goal most certainly is to bring back interviews on a consistent basis. That's another reason why, or at least one of the reasons why I am going from 5 podcasts a week to 3, because, it was things like that where, again, I love the daily shows and all that, but it's just, there wasn't a whole lot of time for anything else. It just wasn't. There wasn't a whole lot of time for anything else. So, I'm thinking now this is going to open up some more time. You know what I mean? And so it was about being more efficient with my time as well. Just being more efficient. Travis says, bring old Gar for a TDC one day. That would be fun. Yeah, I think he'd be down too. I think Garcia would be down, no doubt. I think Gar would definitely be down. So I know you guys would be peppering him with questions, that's for sure. But that'd be fun. That would be fun, no doubt. That'd be a lot of fun. That rain is coming down, son. That rain is coming down. Like, I really want to go to the gym, but man, that weather's making it very tempting to just sit around the house and chill and work on shit at home and all that. I don't know. Making it very, very tempting. Travis says took a pic with his pops and a group of us at the SEC Championship game. Love to hear that. Yeah, Garcia's a legend, man. By the way, guys, in the spirit of Masters Week, obviously I'm rocking the Masters Polo. Also, we've got the Gamecock golf ball. No free ads for Nike, but either way, it's a Nike ball. Yeah, the Gamecock golf ball. So, hate that we don't have any Gamecocks in the field, man. I saw Georgia's got 6 players, 6 Georgia Bulldogs in the field. Of course, the most notable are, Bubba Watson, Kisner, those guys. I mean, we can't claim DJ. You can't claim Dustin Johnson. Didn't even go to USC. I don't feel like he really openly claims it like that. Yeah, but I was really hoping that like a Neesmith or Wesley Bryan would be there, but unfortunately they did not make the cut, make the field. Either way, going to be a really fun weekend. And again, I know our guy Phil Harris. I mean, I know he just can't. He can't even contain his excitement, for Masters Week. John Kruger, what's going on with conflicting reports about whether Lamont met with Gigi or not? So listen, Lamont definitely met with Gigi Jackson. He did. I think their report, which I just reposted, people were like, how about the Spurs Up show spread? I'm like, I'm not spreading anything, bro. Just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just simply, But what they said was Ridgeview coach Eric Stoneman tells us Gigi Jackson will stay in the 2023 class. He's not going to reclassify. No firm date on Jackson on any announcement. One is expected the next week or so. Said they're planning a formal announcement at the school. Said Jackson wants to make a decision now so he can focus on the AAU season. Coaches aren't able to see Jackson until that period ends April 7th. Thus, new Gamecocks coach Lamont Paris has not yet met with Jackson and his mother. So I think when they met, his mother wasn't there. I think the way they were trying to phrase it, I don't know, bro. I just went off what Sports Talk said. So I don't know. Yeah, Jeff, that was awesome. Dawn shouting out Lamont. And it's, least we can do is pack it out in Lamont's first season. That's the least we can do. So we'll see if we can do that. Guys, we're about to hit 2 o'clock and appreciate you all tuning in. Guys, check out the podcast that dropped yesterday. We'll have another podcast tomorrow. Of course, in case you missed it, we've gone from 5 podcasts a week to 3, but the content's still bleeding out the eyeballs. Content's still rolling. Daily Crow every day, noon to 2. You already know the drill with that. And yeah, like I said, in case you missed it, the baseball game has been moved to tomorrow night due to weather. Guys, stay dry, stay safe. If you're out and about, be sure to be safe. Again, there's some threatening weather in the area across the state of South Carolina. So again, be safe today and take care of yourself. Guys, again, we've hit 2 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and we will talk to you